It's our late show and the special edition of Did You See with, of course, Ludovic Kennedy.
Good evening. For the last 2 weeks, though I doubt if most of you were aware of it, BSB, or British Satellite Broadcasting, has been transmitting programs on its 5 channels, though only to those whose sets are connected to cable networks. Because of past teething troubles and the lack of receiving dishes or square reels in the shops, their public launch has been postponed until the end of the month. From then on, competition with Sky Television will begin in earnest. So what will BSB's viewers get? Well, first is the Now channel, which offers such things as current affairs, documentaries, medicine, leisure pursuits, and fashion, and over the weekend becomes BSB's Arts channel. Next, the Galaxy channel, which covers drama, soap operas, children's programs, and general entertainment. Then there's the Power Station channel, which provides rock and pop music for those who like it, and which, says BSB, to disarm criticism, is radio with pictures, not television with music. Fourthly, there's the Sports Channel, and lastly, and for a subscription of £10 a month, the Movie Channel. Well, I've been looking at some of BSB's offerings over the last 2 weeks, and for those of you who aren't hitched up to cable, here's a preview of a few of them. On the Galaxy Channel, I was much entertained by a program with a really novel idea called Kids Court, in which real-life children, as plaintiff and defendant, jury, and questioning audience, have their particular problems aired. The moderator is Andrew Connor.
Okay, so Alan, you are the plaintiff or the accuser, and Danny, you're the defendant or the accused. So tell me in your own words, Alan, exactly what happened from the start.
Well, I went off on holiday just for the week.
Right.
So I asked Danny if he would just go in for me.
Into where?
Into the news agent.
The news agent,
for the
and take
paper.
over your paper round, right?
Yeah, which he did. And he will be getting paid out of my own money.
Right, the money that you'd have got paid, he's getting paid,
Yeah.
You're doing your job, I see.
Well, when I got back off my holiday, well, I got back on the Sunday night, and I went in there first thing, Monday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got in there, they told me I had the sack because he didn't do his job properly.
So listen, when they said to you, listen, I'm afraid that because you got your mate and it was hopeless, you got the sack, how did that make you feel?
Well, I felt very angry at the time, because I don't get any pocket money. I have to work for my money.
So that's why you brought him to Kids Court?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Alan, Danny says to you, take over, and you make a mess of it.
Yeah, well, I did make a mess of it because I'm accident prone, you see. Nothing seems to go my way.
For your information, the jury in that case were unable to agree on a verdict. Also on the Galaxy Channel was a program called La Triviata, which its makers describe as the essential guide to everything that isn't essential, but which somehow seems curiously compelling. Well, that's a matter of opinion. But one of the wheezes they've dreamed up is to dub fresh commentaries onto old newsreel footage, in this case on a sequence of a 1950s craze called Space Hoppers.
Here's one family who are happy to put a new bounce to their step. Yes, the Schmidt family from Germany prove even Huns can have fun. Hello, Dad's got a puncture, so it's into the local garage for a quick blowjob. Everyone agrees it's green for go with this ozone-friendly transport. Yes, people are certainly going to have to watch out because there's no stopping the hopping when Klaus and his family leave the house. And we can't leave without a hoppy ending, and here it is. I'd like to see Johnny Jerry Traffic Warden clamp that lot.
Another new idea on the Now channel is a parliamentary programme called Left, Right and Centre, in which on 4 nights a week a different MP gives his or her view on the goings-on at Westminster. In the first programme, it was the turn of the Conservative MP for Richmond, Surrey, who explained why he felt that an MP's life is not a happy one.
left, right and centre. A war-weary, word-weary Westminster here tonight, poleaxed by the hours, tongue-tied by a parliamentary guillotine, and still hard at it. I'm Jeremy Hanley, MP. 44 years old, I feel older. Married, I feel single. And I have several children at home, I'm told. And I'm getting very tired. It's almost 11:20, and I've been here since breakfast. I'll still be here till most ordinary mortals are well and truly tucked up. Most of us will. Westminster's into one of its all-too-frequent talking marathons. I mean, have a look at this. The civilized world was probably munching muesli. The all-night talkers hadn't noticed sunrise. They'd been on hand for 18 hours or more. Look at the litter, discarded debris of a hard night on the gab. But save the sympathy, though. It's the way we do it.
Another political programme on the Now channel is called Now Sir Robin, and features the old warhorse chatting for an hour to three fellow journalists about political issues which have disturbed them during the past week. Last week the journalists were Joe Haynes, Peter Jenkins and Bruce Anderson. And though some good points were made, a whole hour of it was, in my view, about half an hour too long. I also missed the presence of A, a woman, and B, an audience, at the handling of which Sir Robin is particularly adept. So come back, question time, Mark II, all is forgiven.
Do you lay any of that violence, as Peter Jenkins apparently does, at the door of Margaret Thatcher? In particular, I'll come back to you, Peter, in a moment. And
you're misrepresenting me.
I'm sorry I'm misrepresenting you. You can de-misrepresent yourself in just a second, and I apologise. But you saw the extracts from that tabloid newspaper, Class War, which have been printed, saying horrifying words of gloating over the violence to policemen and the injuries caused to the pigs of the police.
That's
and
right.
Get another brick and throw it where, if you can.
That is a much deeper problem than the one about the poll tax.
Is Mrs. Thatcher responsible for that?
Only in that she provided an opportunity, but if it hadn't been for the poll tax, it would have been something else.
Peter,
that's what I'm saying.
How did I misrepresent?
Because I'm not blaming Mrs. Thatcher for the violence. What I said was it was unfair to try and blame it on the Labour Party. And who was it who brought the people onto the streets in the first place? It was Mrs. Thatcher with her poll tax.
Wasn't that blaming Mrs. Thatcher?
And lastly, another contribution from the Galaxy Channel, a quiz show for those with low IQs called Wife of the Week, and presented by Christopher Biggins. In this, 4 couples compete daily to see which will go forward to the final on Friday. The wives are given various tasks, such as to identify their husbands' distorted voices, and to see if the 3 adjectives chosen by the husbands to describe themselves are also the 3 that they would choose. And there's even more.
Hello and welcome back to Wife of the Week. Now, before we start making points in Pop the Question, I thought we'd go down memory lane, have a bit of fun with the girls. I asked the husbands to bring something in with the jog of memory, make them laugh, make them cry, make them blush. So I wonder what Terry's brought in for Alison. What have you got, Terry? A chopstick, a rather nice one too. So what's the story behind that, Alison?
Well, this just shows how poor we are, really. When we got married 6 months ago, we bought a second-hand washing machine.
Yeah.
And after a few weeks of having it, the door catch broke. So to start the washing machine now, we have to poke a chopstick in to get it started.
Oh, well, so it's a Chinese wash, is it?
Yeah.
Later in the programme, Gilbert Adair will be looking back at 50 years of Hanna-Barbera cartoons, which had produced such golden oldies as Fred Flintstone, Yogi Bear and Tom and Jerry. But first we're going to discuss 3 of BSB's current offerings: the space soap opera Jupiter Moon, the current affairs magazine programme First Edition, and the comedy show I Love Keith Allen. And here to talk about them are the writer Douglas Adams, creator of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Eve Pollard, editor of the Sunday Mirror, and comedian and scriptwriter Craig Ferguson, soon to launch his own show on ITV. Jupiter Moon, which goes out 3 times a week, is the biggest contract to be awarded to an independent production company since Channel 4's Brookside. And such is BSB's faith in it that 150 episodes are already in production. The location is a European polytechnic housed in a spaceship orbiting one of Jupiter's moons. And the time is New Year's Eve, 2049 AD. Timothy, a first-year student, is showing a new girl, Victoria, around, while 2 other students discuss the electronic news from home.
This is Victoria. I'm showing her around.
Hello. Oh, I think you're sharing a room with me and Sarah Robin.
Hey, Timmy, you don't want to show Victoria somewhere else, huh?
Yeah, see you later. Bye-bye, Timmy.
Bye.
That's my sister. She's been going out with him for nearly a year.
What do you mean, going out? I mean, going out where? There's nowhere